Good evening and welcome to the GovHack 2020 International Red Carpet Awards. My name is Jason Weigel, the chair of GovHack Australia Limited and the operation lead for GovHack 2020. You may also know me as the person who sent you lots of emails. Before I begin, I would like to reflect on the fact that we are residing on the custodial lands of the oldest living civilization in the world. This is a contested space, so I pay my respects to both the Yagara people and the Turrbal people, the traditional custodians of the land where I'm recording this opening from. I would also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you are all watching this from, and the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people participating in GovHack. I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging, and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and waters of Australia. Welcome to our many sponsors, volunteers, mentors, and particularly the participants of GovHack 2020. Without each of you, GovHack wouldn't be possible. I would like to thank our lead international corporate sponsor, Infosys, for the great support you have provided this year and in previous years. I would also like to thank both our new, continuing, and returning sponsors at the various levels throughout Australia and New Zealand. Your support allows us to continue to make it possible to have free events for all participants to participate in and year out. As we digitally gather to attend this awards event, this is very different to how I and others from the GovHack International Operations team expected the 2020 GovHack event to turn out when we started planning following the 2019 International Red Carpet Awards in Canberra. I would have expected us to be gathering together in a capital city around Australia, but, well, COVID-19 happened and all the plans were thrown out the window. In a moment, you will hear from Mike Price, the director of GovHack Aotearoa New Zealand, who will detail some of the challenges and plans we had in place for the challenge this year. The plans that we made allowed the event to go ahead in a new hybrid digital physical format. However, even the best laid plans had a spanner thrown in the works as COVID-19 re-emerged in Auckland the week prior to the competition weekend. The plans, however, did quickly allow us to pivot to digital in the affected locations. Overall, running GovHack 2020 as primarily a digital event rather than a physical event saw a different type of participation than we had seen in previous years. We met digitally online via YouTube, Slack, Zoom, and the various other collaboration platforms the team used to work with one another. With many participants working from home in the months leading up to the competition, people had become somewhat accustomed to working in this format for GovHack. However, the experience was very different to GovHack of previous years. In addition to the digital events, we saw 4 physical events occur. These events were located in Hobart and Launceston in Tasmania, Mackay in Queensland, and Whangarei in New Zealand. The participants were able to experience GovHack physically with social distancing precautions. Looking at the statistics of GovHack 2020, we saw over 1,000 people participating across our various different events, including the brand new digital conference presentations, the Connections events, the competition weekend, and the Australian State and Territory Awards. Over the competition weekend, there were over 750 people active, and we saw 691 people submit a project by the Sunday afternoon. Of these people, 391 were new to GovHack in 2020. We had slightly over 100 volunteers helping to support GovHack in the lead up to, during, and after the competition weekend. About 620 recorded datasets were used in the 158 submitted projects across over 400 challenge entries. In the feedback we received from people following the competition weekend, the overwhelming message was a desire to have physical events again. Looking forward to 2021, we would like to return to running physical events also. We have learned a lot from running this year as primarily a digital event. It has allowed many people normally unable to participate when not located near or are unable to attend our normal physical events to participate. As a result, the digital participation aspect will remain to complement the physical competition. But more on that and the 2020 competition at the end of the International Red Carpet Awards on the 25th of October. Now on to how the International Red Carpet Awards will be structured. The event will be spread out over 12 days. Today we have the opening. Well, welcome everyone. Tomorrow on the 15th, we will have the Meet the Maker event. This will take place at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Here you'll be able to meet with the finalists of the various Australian, New Zealand, and international challenges that will be announced in the coming week and a bit. Also presenting will be the winners, runners-up, and honourable mentions of the Australian state and territory challenges. On Friday the 16th, we will have a presentation from our lead international corporate sponsor, Emphasis, followed by the Aotearoa New Zealand Awards. The awards will be presented on YouTube at 6 p.m. New Zealand Daylight Savings Time. Following the Aotearoa New Zealand Awards, the second round of People's Choice voting will open to select the International People's Choice winning entry. The voting will be linked on our social media platforms and will be open until Thursday, the 22nd of October at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Between the 17th and the 21st, the Australian Challenge Award winners will be announced, with 2 challenges per day starting at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time respectively. Following this, on the 22nd and the 23rd, the International Challenge Award winners will be announced, again 2 per day. On the 24th, the GovHack Awards of Best Government Participation and International People's Choice Award will be announced. Lastly, as we close out on the 25th, we will have one final presentation to give where we announce GovHack 2021. This is about all for me for now, so let me introduce Mike Price, the Director of GovHack Aotearoa New Zealand. Over to you, Mike.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome. Wow. 2020, that was a year, and then some. Everything started off being pretty normal planning for the 2020 event, and then COVID-19. Who would have thought that a virus could have such an effect on the world? Maybe it's part of the price we pay for being able to travel freely. The international operations team went into replanning mode. Questions started to arise as to whether the event could go ahead at all. Then we started looking at what platforms were available to allow GovHack 2020 to go ahead digitally. Eventually we settled on Zoom and Slack, and then New Zealand started to come out of lockdown and physical events were once again possible. What to do? The decision was made that if an event host wanted to run a physical event, then that would be fine, but GovHack would still have a digital presence. In Australia, it was going to be a digital event, except for Tasmania, as they too could have gatherings and therefore physical events. The situation kept changing by the day. Despite all the uncertainty, GovHack 2020 started as planned on Friday, 14 August. The New Zealand operations team were based in Wanganui, and this was the nerve centre of the New Zealand event. We had 111 people register in New Zealand for GovHack this year, slightly lower than last year, but this is understandable due to the COVID-19 uncertainty. We still ran with a physical model despite having a hybrid event. The centres we had for registrations were Auckland, Wellington, Whangarei, Christchurch, Hamilton, Dunedin and digital. This allowed us to have event hosts for each location that could assist teams and participants who registered for a particular location, regardless of whether they were in a physical location or online. In Christchurch, our event host ended up supporting 2 hybrid teams, Australian and New Zealand team members, one team working on a New Zealand challenge and the other on an Australian challenge. This shows that running digital does have some advantages. From a data perspective, this year New Zealand had its own data specialist. This proved to be very useful when questions arose over the event weekend, as well as all the preparation to ensure data sets were readily available for participants. We would encourage government, both central and local, to continue to make data open and accessible to its citizens. If GovHack can assist, then please get in touch. This year saw a much closer relationship with the Australian operations team. This meant that some of the New Zealand team could help out. It also had the advantage of keeping New Zealand visible. We kept referring to Australia as the West Island. Both the New Zealand and Australian organisers and operations teams were on Zoom calls nearly every night in the lead up to the August 14th event, making sure that we had all our ducks in a row, that our sponsors were aware of how the planning was going, etc., as the sponsors play an oh so important role in ensuring GovHack is a success. Others that make the event a success are all the volunteers who help out at every level, from data analysis to data organisation, being event hosts, helping online participants, building the website, posting on social media, organising catering, prizes, sponsors, the list goes on. As the director of GovHack Aotearoa New Zealand, I would like to extend a big thank you, and I look forward to welcoming all volunteers back to help out with GovHack 2021. If you would like to volunteer for GovHack 2021, please get in touch. Thanks to all that took part, and I hope that you got something useful from the event, and you too will be back next year. Ngā mihi nui.